Well, it never gave us a reason to stop, right? There's no reason to. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean you need to stop it. All right. Oh! Who got me? Drake. Drake just got me for 17 months in a row. Subscribed. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kay, if I shout in your ear like that accidentally. It happens. God bless America. Drake, I'm having issues where the voice meter, just all of a sudden your audio cables don't work anymore and blah blah blah. So I had to do all that, and I'm frantically trying to Oh, oh, sorry about that. Okay. Um, yeah. I don't know. Is everything coming through for you guys? Have you tested your Sirenscape yet? They're still getting connected to the table too. So bear with us, people. As oh yeah, that's working. All right, now what the heck? I thought I had everybody in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing somebody. Where's Caesar? Hmm. Yeah, I noticed that Discord wasn't lighting up right. I'm like, oh wait a minute. I know I had all this working. We went through this, didn't we? Anybody heard from Caesar? Yeah, Caesar likes to eat. That's okay. We're a little slow getting going tonight. All right, so they are not hearing you guys on. Oh, here we go. Now give me a mic check, somebody. Damn it, what is going on here? Oh, I know what. Engorgia's let me know that shit ain't right. Let's see, that needs to go to cable A. Vino, I know that. That's what I was just talking about. Caesar not being here. I'm worried about other shit.
Lord of the salad.
How about that? I bet that's working now. You hear that, Engorgio? Talk to him, Brad.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can I hear me? I can hear me.
Sadly. Drake says sadly.
Oh, there's some echo.
Oh no, that's because I've got it on my phone in front of the microphone. So if I do like this, you'll hear me twice.
Yeah, well, don't do like that.
I normally have the volume off. I was just testing for you though.
Damn it, guys! I've had just all this technical shit, and then Brad's gonna put his phone in front of him. The microphone. How's your Christmas?
I can leave my voice. I'll leave my text message sound on, and we'll just get Chewbacca once in a while.
Oh, I like that. How's your Christmas or your Hanukkah or Boxing Day, Carl?
It was alright. What is this Boxing Day thing?
Well,
I know what Boxing Day is, but why are you putting... Is this some sort of miss...
Because I think I think Canada and the UK are the only ones that. Well, I take that back. I think India might too.
No, Australia.
I was asked
Brewin that isn't us.
The what?
That observe Boxing Day.
I don't even know what the hell Boxing Day is.
We don't observe Boxing Day. It's just a day. I think you'll find it's mostly German.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and the Queen does it because they're all freaking Germans.
I was asked if I was doing anything for Boxing Day, and I was like, "Is that a thing now?"
No, because because traditionally, right, and this isn't just in the UK, right? This used to be everywhere in the old world, right? Traditionally, you go to church on Christmas Day, so you don't open presents on Christmas Day. You open presents on the following day, which is why it's called Boxing Day.
Oh, is that it?
Hmm.
Yes.
From my understanding, I thought it was when you
But-
boxed up like decorations and the like, and a whole bunch of
I thought it was a
bells went off.
celebration of the shark punching people.
I'm just a very literal person, so yeah, I was expecting like actual boxing matches.
No.
Well, if Jimmy had his way, it got awfully quiet.
Oh, I hear Sirenscape.
You used to traditionally give gifts to the poor in those days as well, if you were like rich.
Hint, hint, everybody.
Yeah, get on that. Oh my gosh. Not sure, but I did see something about people have been sending Venmo requests to Mitch McConnell's email for $2,000, and that made my New Year's.
What is it?
Do you not have
Venmo?
Do you not have like because in modern times Boxing Day is like Black Friday? Or
Black
is
Friday
it?
for that.
What kind of email did you say they sent?
To
Like the
Mitch
money
McConnell's
transfer request
work
thingy.
email. Oh, Venmo. It's like PayPal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the stimulus check bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. But anyway.
Anyway, did you
That is
guys
funny.
get something cool for Christmas? Everybody get something cool, or just get to spend time with your family, or
We didn't do much other than dinner.
Dancing cactus.
I got Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I got Cyberpunk from Zemetic.
I had a little one over, so that was pretty great. Nothing makes Christmas great except for small children thrilled for like the next day.
I've got
Yeah.
a great
I'm not
story
sure.
with that with my nephew. This was some years ago. He really wanted, I think, a printer for his computer. And so we were at my grandpa's and he got one as he was unwrapping it. But then someone's like, oh, yeah, by the way, we had to reuse a lot of boxes. So make sure you look inside because it might not be what it seems. He looked so sad. My dad's like, I think that's what it is. It's still sealed. And you're just like, oh.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, also, Remy, did you fix your skills?
Yes.
Working on fighting machete here for him. Okay, so I spent the last couple of weeks kind of putting this together. It just blossomed into something much bigger than I expected it to. Just to do a one shot for New Year's, but I thought, I've been getting back into recording and audio mixing and stuff lately, so I figured if we're going to try to marathon our way through this session tonight, it's 5 chapters, and I think it's completely doable because there's not a lot of combat. It truly is a murder mystery. So I thought rather than that hour or hour and a half that it takes to introduce new characters to each other and tell their backgrounds and all that stuff, um, that I would just put a video together and narrate it and kind of paint the picture of what's going on. Good evening, Caesar.
I
Hey, made it.
disconnected the placeholder.
Thanks, Ben. I was reaching. You saw me reaching over. Well, if you're watching the stream, but do all of you, the players now, Caesar, you're just getting here. So if you want to see the introduction video that kind of sets up the whole scene and introduces the characters and stuff, you'll have to watch the stream for the next, you know, 7 or 8 minutes here as we go through this. Baby Yoda and Gorgio got a record player and a Baby Yoda. Do you sleep with the
I got it
video?
up on the big screen over here.
Well, cool. So
Jake, I like your TAL ammo combination.
Tal ammo. And Vino, I'll set up your machete
Do a
while
trade
this is rolling. So we'll be right back. So stream and players enjoy the video.
New Orleans, the pearl of the South. City with a grand history, rich in tradition of a more European style. With that, sometimes it's easy to forget the states are at war, or at least officially they are. The North and South had nearly come to a standstill, though trouble on the river from Baton Rouge to St. Louis continues to cause no end of problems for commerce on the mighty Mississippi. Now, there ain't no doubt it gets hot in Louisiana in July, but it's about to get a whole lot hotter. Recent string of murders has the city a bit on edge. Shoot, anyone with an eye on the New Orleans Times has seen the headlines. Nathan Parrish, wanted for murder. And with them Parishes being an old and respected family in the city, tales are growing faster than Jackson whipped the British. What is and what isn't might come to light by the end of our tale. For now, I'll start at the beginning. Our story begins with one Louis Desjardins, better known as Louis Andouille or Louis the Sausage, 'cause he might not be full of shit, but there ain't no telling what he's full of. Louis is a greasy little dandy that's best known for moving cargo up and down the Mississippi for a more discreet clientele, so to say. Just this morning he received a letter. It was hand-delivered and come from a Miss Sophie Parrish, daughter of former client Gentry Parrish. Now, Gentry Parrish had contributed a great deal to Louis' success in the towns north of the city. And though Gentry passed away during the blockade of New Orleans, Louis felt he owed a certain debt of gratitude to the family. He had heard that since the passing of their father, the two heirs had fallen on difficult times. It seems Sophie and Nathan have not the business savvy as did their daddy. And now, according to the New Orleans Times, Nathan was wanted for murder. Much to his surprise, Louis opened the letter not to find an appeal for funds to defend Nathan, but a request to prove his innocence. Now, how she thought he could be of any assistance he didn't have an inkling. He was well known in certain circles, of course, up and down the banks of the Mississippi, but he ain't spent a great deal of time in New Orleans as of late. He was invited to attend Miss Parrish this very evening at her home in the Garden District, and to be of any help to her at all, he'd need to find a few of his local contacts, those that are more frequently aware of the ongoings in the city. He needed to hear what the streets had to say. Well, as luck would have it, Louis was scheduled to meet with an associate who specializes in transporting cargo around the port of New Orleans, if you know what I mean. Remy Boudreau was a Cajun from Port-a-la-Hatchie, just south of the city. His city knows every backwater bayou, New Orleans to Lake Charles, it don't matter. Louis and Remy had done a great deal of business in the past, and since Remy had numerous connections in and around the city, he might have heard something pertaining to the murders. They was meeting where they always do, at Wilson's Tap House near Slaughterhouse Road. It's owned by Remy's cousin Justin, and a favorite drinking establishment of the local Irish population of the city. Now, a pub full of Irish ditch diggers might seem a strange place for a Frenchman and a Cajun, but it's comfortable, and the law tends to shy away from a group of drunken Irish ditch diggers. When Louis arrived, however, Remy was engaged with a fellow that Louis was familiar with, but really had no desire to know him beyond a passing acquaintance. Jimmy Sharkey, whose other monikers include Jimmy the Shark, or just the Shark, made his meager wages not by digging canals like the other micks in the joint, but through sheer prowess and brutal strength. Jimmy has some success as a pugilist, both in canal-side warehouses and as an enforcer for various people who have need for such a one as him. Though Louis did not care to be indebted to someone like Jimmy the Shark, he knew Jimmy was well connected on the streets. Perhaps he might be able to shed some light on the Nathan Parrish issue. Remy caught Louis coming through the door and motioned him to the back table where niceties were exchanged and a formal introduction given for Louis and Jimmy. Louis sat down in the chair next to Jimmy, not because of closeness to the thug made him feel at ease, but having your back to the wall in a place like Wilson's Tap House does provide an added measure of safety and security, especially if you're dressed like the dandy Louis Andouille and the rest of the club is full of mud shoe ditch diggers. In fact, Louis could even see the back door from where he sat. It's just down the hallway behind the kitchen. The funny thing is, just as Louis was taking note of that door, it opened. In contrary to what I said earlier about the law not frequenting the taverns in the Irish neighborhoods, in walks one of the meanest, nastiest law dogs in the whole city, Detective Ida Murphy. And she must have felt right at home with her kinfolk in Wilson's, because when she walked into the room, half the crowd cheered and the other half headed toward the front door. She paid him no mind, however, and for the very briefest of moments, Louis thought she was going to walk right past him. I guess it wasn't to be Louis' lucky day. Detective Murphy plopped her ass in right down in the chair across from Louis. His heart started thumping, and little balls of sweat rolled down his forehead and onto his cheek like he'd been eating Justin Wilson's spicy mumbo jumbo gumbo. When Louis did manage to pull it together and look up, more for the quickest way out should he need it, it became clear that he was not the subject of Detective Murphy's focus. But Jimmy the Shark, on the other hand, looked like he'd rather be any place but where he was sitting right at that moment. Something was exchanged between the two, though no words were said. Then she turned and noted Remy briefly, before swiveling her head and looking Louis straight in the eye. For Louis, panic started to set in, but it was Justin Wilson, the owner and the chef, come up to the table with 2 steaming bowls of gumbo, broke the awkward silence. He set one bowl down in front of his cousin Remy and the other before Jimmy the Shark, and as he took in Detective Murphy and Louis the Sausage, he turned and hollered back at the kitchen for 2 more bowls, then turned and yanked a chair out from under one of the patrons sitting at the next table. The man rolled onto the floor, smacking his head flat against the floorboards. Cursing in the name of Mother Mary and all the saints, he stood up, started rolling up his sleeves, but then he noticed who had evicted him from his perch. To look at the old chef, you wouldn't think him pose much of a threat, but something in his eyes at that moment of recognition took all the wind out of that man's sails, and he wilted like a morning blossom in the heat of the noonday sun. Justin just smiled at him, thanked him for his patronage, then turned and sat at the end of the table. He looked at the folks sitting there, knowing something about each one of them, that this was gathering of a most peculiar order. And with that ever-ready smile, he said, "Well, this looks like hell done froze over. How y'all are?"
And we're back. And you guys are sitting around Justin Wilson's Tap House. Everybody with me?
I'm
Yep.
here.
Cool. So, do you basically get the gist of what's happening?
Yep, I think so.
No, there's a lot to take in. 8 minutes worth. Louis, you got the story.
Well, I do declare this is some wonderful gumbo. Detective Murphy there, please, How is it that I can help you? I don't want any trouble.
Well, I hear. Oop. Can people hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yep.
Well, with so many characters in town, I thought I'd stop by and see what's going on.
Oh, that is good.
Just a meal and some drinks, share.
Oh, then you wouldn't mind if I just sat here and enjoyed my gumbo.
Of course not.
Well, of course,
It's
Mr.
always
Wilson
nice to
is a
spend,
wonderful chef.
That right there is the best damn gumbo you ever eat, I guarantee.
Guarantee.
Oh my, it is.
No
yes.
offense, cuz. No offense, cuz, but it's nowhere close to Mama's. It's good, but it's not hers.
Oh, well then, it is perhaps lucky that you are all here because there is a bit of an interesting situation that has befallen me.
I reckon this has something to do with them parish murders.
Well, I do declare you are a smart man. That is why they call you. I don't remember what they call you, but I'll call you the Riverman. Because when I need to move
You
down in the bayou past the river, you're the man.
you could told us the story right here.
Yeah. But you see, well, it's kind of loud here.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody,
So,
interrupt just a second, long enough to let, especially because Kay's not familiar with Sirenscape. You got your own volume control on there, and it may be louder for you. You might adjust it on and off throughout the session. Go ahead. Go ahead there, Louie.
I guess the people in the restaurant here have calmed down after seeing the detective. I hear them milling about. Well, yeah, there has been these murders. Do you all hear about those lately?
I heard about him. Didn't hear about no Murphy coming to no meeting though.
Not one of you was the one who committed these murders, would it? Because that would make it much easier to figure out who did it. If one of you would just volunteer up that information.
Is that why the Mrs. Dolores here?
Where there's murder, I follow.
Remy here is innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm
I've been
sure
accused
you
of
all are.
many
What
things,
is it
but
in the murder?
not murder.
Yet.
I don't know. I saw what you did to that man the other night.
That weren't me. That was the one-armed man.
Well, what
Oh,
happens in the ring stays in
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring, but
What's that man's name? Punchy the one-armed man, McGee?
Something to that effect, I reckon.
Well, the only thing Justin Wilson I've been murdering is this, some gators and some hogs.
Thank you for the sub, Gorgio. Okay, you were just gifted.
hey, thanks.
You guys.
How's your ticker, Marb?
I tell you what, after all the fucking technical difficulties and stuff,
Make a sound for each of these.
Rob Tui, thanks. Who did that
That's
one?
the best part about subs is the people's responses.
That's in
So
Gorgio
yes,
gift.
please.
Yeah, in Gorgio gifting. Oh.
It's like one of those Twitch porn streams.
Well, that's Vino's stream.
Oh, fuck you.
Vino's porn cam, free XXX
Yeah.
chat, voice chat.
It is not time for Venom.
Thanks for all the
Yes,
subs.
they did
man.
ask if.
Go ahead, Louis. I'm sorry.
Well, that fellow over there in the corner is quite loud. I do not know what he is going on about. Is that, I believe his name is
Hey.
Fred, right?
Zed Banya.
Quiet over there, Fred. Yes.
No, that's his twin brother Zed Banya.
I like to call him Z, but that is another story entirely. And now, where was I? Yes, there was this murders, and I wonder if I could inquire a little bit. So it is very convenient that I have run across all of you.
I don't know how much I can be of help, but I can talk to some folks.
Well, Louis, you know my price.
Did you want a gold watch or a regular today? And, Louis is
Always-
gonna open his coat up, and there's at least a dozen pocket watches hanging on the side.
She inspects them for a moment and sits back in her chair. I think I'm fine with mine. It's unique.
Well, I do hope you listen to the advice and don't hurt Louis.
Well, you know, the price never changes. Good information keeps you alive.
It wasn't me. We will have to find out who it is. Because I do not want to lose any more teeth. Or
Morning,
Okay.
have a drink.
My lips are getting a bit dry here, Louis. If you catch my drift.
Yes, a round on Louis.
yes, barkeep. Do bring us around here your finest stuff.
Finer stuff. I've got to give you another card because we're not using the uh-oh card tonight. And the second one you got, we're not using either because it's called Here Comes the Cavalry. What did she get? Second win. That's a good one. So you can use the second win card. You guys, use you're gonna get chips and cards awarded to you throughout the night, depending on how you play your hindrances and you role play and all that stuff. Make the GM laugh. So use them up because there'll be some coming from chapter to chapter. I'm just going through some of these cards. Continue on.
So, detective, what was the most recent murder you're aware of? Do you happen to have any information about that?
She doesn't. It's not really her beat.
Well, she is everywhere in town.
Actually, she's kind of... Now, let me set this part up for you. So, New Orleans has a private police department. It's owned by an individual and a group of investors. But she works for one individual. And, working your way up, it's kind of like... Do you know anything about the legal system in Mexico? Like cops pull you over and you can just pay for your ticket right there on the spot and the rate may vary. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like a bribe to me.
Well, that's the way
Most
it
of
is.
the world.
Yeah, that's in much of the world that's the way. I can't just single out Mexico. But
India.
experience.
I feel like
exactly.
he may be speaking from experience.
In
No, I'm
Malawi,
pretty sure he's talking about Fred.
Orange whip.
Well, exactly.
Drake,
Secondhand
orange whip.
experience from Fred.
Yeah, so that's the way you get around, and that's the same in New Orleans. So, she's looking for maybe a big case to get some kind of promotion, because right now she just has to prowl the Irish neighborhoods, and the Irish neighborhoods in New Orleans are some of the lowliest of the lowest.
okay.
Speak for yourself. We're fine gentlemen, every one of us.
Hmm.
And then Jimmy starts
I
talking
certainly do not disagree.
to somebody who's not there.
I come from that fine folk, I agree.
Here's to not forgetting your roots and not arresting the wrong man.
Social toast to that.
I can agree to that one.
Who's round as
Louis.
Louise, of course.
Again, I believe it might be time for my friend Remy here.
Remy here broke.
That does sound like my friend Remy.
You know, I would like to see you
Well, if
guys'
we could,
faces, though. We take a first break, and I'm going to hook up, turn the VC on, and get you guys connected. At least we can see each other, you know.
Hmm.
You're not going to broadcast that just
No.
for us.
No, I'm not going to broadcast it, but at least I can see you. You know, I like being able to see your faces because I can tell so much more about what the player's thinking.
Well, I'm currently thinking, sausage.
Louis and
gumbo.
Dewey.
well,
I have
Wow.
a very nice.
yeah, so Luio does not mind this idea.
If that's the way it's going, Remy's going to leave.
That's a
But,
sausage fest.
Yeah,
Leave as things spice up. Let's see how Remy is.
You'll have to get me drunk first.
well, like that is. I wouldn't say that is so difficult.
And she
Now,
looks at him and says, I'm looking to go up, not down.
But pump.
Well, let's see if we can get you one of those promotions. Maybe you can make sure the part of the town where Remy delivers the goods is perhaps less guarded by the overzealous members of the police force.
Hey, Remy, where did you park your P-Row anyway?
I think I saw it out in the alley, didn't I know?
Do I?
I don't think it'd be on in the alley.
No, it wouldn't be.
Probably be tied up. It'd probably be tied up just on the edge of some water.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I'm just not sure where.
Boat around.
Well, there's probably a canal comes out into the river pretty close here to where, yeah. Anyway,
You weren't feeling so hot when you parked that beauty, so you're gonna have to wander a while to find her.
Well, there, Mr. Wilson, Justin, I believe, yes? Perhaps you have some insight. You see a lot of individuals here in your fine establishment.
Well, this is the first I've been heard about this story.
well, you definitely know the name Parrish. Quite well-to-do family for 150 years here in New Orleans, and you have heard that they're looking for Nathan Parrish for the murder of this girl. Well, this soiled dove, shall we say?
Do we have a name of the victim?
Not yet. Not at this time. Just a request to attend Miss Sophie Parrish is what Louis got.
Well, would you all perhaps want to join me as I go visit Miss Parrish? I imagine it would be some promotion in store for you, Miss Murphy, and for the rest of you, there will certainly be a reward.
Oh, I'm always happy to help the good citizens of New Orleans.
And most
Very well,
importantly, Mr. Shark, have you seen that there are a whiskey repository in their mansion?
Is that so? I might just come along to do a little bit of investigations with you then.
Whiskey. It's not Jameson.
It is some sort of fancy stuff from back in the old country.
It's okay, just between you and me. I can't read the bloody labels anyway.
Did you take the illiterate hindrance?
Yeah.
I think half of us are illiterate.
So
That looks good,
Ida
Drake.
shoots
Candy
him a
milk
real dirty
punch.
look and says, "You living up to that stereotype, hmm?"
Whereas you joined the filth, if you know what I mean.
She toasts him again.
The
Perhaps
private
each one
guard,
with the
as it were.
I have always wanted to meet Mademoiselle Parrish.
Well, barkeep, could you get my friend the shark here one for the road? We could head on over that away.
Yes, sir. I'll do that right now, sir.
Hold on, let me get one of my pineapple downside up cakes from Miss Parrish. She loves those.
Downside up, cake.
Maybe you should get two and we can eat one on the way.
You gonna take her cake, Caesar?
Sure enough.
Sure enough. Awesome.
Maybe a few pralines too.
Perhaps a beignet.
Oh, now you just sucking up.
Beignet. All right, so you guys gather your stuff up and head through the streets, I guess. Let me close down some windows here, and I'll throw this to the players. Not really much to look at. Let's switch scenes here for a second.
That was a
French
very,
Quarter.
very real burp.
That sounded real,
I
didn't
thought maybe that came from Carl.
I was wondering if that was Carl or the sound effects.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, there's a.
I'm just glad there are no horses here.
You can't get over that horse, can you?
It's still going on, all sorts of stuff.
So I switched the scene over for the stream just to show them that they're gonna, be cruising around the French Quarter here. Not really any combat, but so basically she's in the Garden District, which is just off the French Quarter.
Right, and Justin, could you remind me exactly where your location is in the city?
I doubt he's in the French Quarter.
No, so I will share another map with you. And he's more down here around, of course I got blue. Let me pick a dice color here that stands out real good.
Yellow would probably stand out well.
So that's what I'm looking for here. So this is Slaughterhouse Row. This block right here, a couple of blocks, 2 or 3 blocks is Slaughterhouse Row. And the Irish neighborhoods are like all nestled in around here. Pretty much a slum.
Where's the French Quarter from on this
In
map?
In the middle.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's part of the
Yeah.
first whatever palette.
Yeah, so it's
Municipal.
it's a looks like 10-block walk or so up the riverfront. But yeah, all these canals that
And
you
of course,
see
with the
back up in here, Remy probably brought his P-Row down one of them canals.
Yeah, if I had to guess, my Piro is probably parked or tied up just somewhere near Justin's.
have you ever considered putting wheels on that thing and then you could walk it around town, push it around? Maybe one of
That
them fancy
seems
steam engines they have.
Steam too loud.
Well, I guess for more discreet business, that is quite an assessment. Now the
And
real question is, oh yes,
besides, Remy ain't so good with all this technology.
oh yeah, she is. So who do you
What
think
technology? Wheels?
Oh, the winding thing on the watch.
That too. He also can't tell time, just like he can't read.
Ah.
Let me check my watch. What time is it right now? Let's see.
Oh, it's late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock.
It appears to be late afternoon indeed. I do notice that a lot of people are avoiding looking and walking our direction, but I don't know if it is Miss Murphy there or Mr. Shark.
We do seem to make a pair.
Don't mind me, just having a wee tipple.
Hey there, watch where you're walking, mister.
So as Ida's walking, she'll occasionally just like shoot a super strong glare at some random poor person, and they run away. And then other times she'll even walk up and like grab them real close and whisper things, and they get really pale and then run away.
Yeah, mean cop. The epitome of the bad cop.
We're heading up the fancy side of town, I see.
Well, yes, is that why we should all be wearing our top hats?
Let
I
me
don't know what
just
your problems are.
straighten my tie here.
Remy
So,
always good
that'll-
looking for ladies.
Spits in his hand and reforms his hair a little.
So Ida's very unconventional in that she wears men's clothes, as you can kind of sort of see in the photo, but not really. And she has a little bowler cap on top of her well done female hair. So she just always looks nice because she has to.
Does she got like cuts and bruises on the back of her knuckles and stuff?
Definitely some light cuts, but they're more calloused than anything.
I heard that she wears gloves when she is beating people.
No. Don't want
then
to sully the
burns-
gloves.
And then burns the evidence. And then just buys new gloves.
Well, in her case,
No,
the people are the evidence, and they do get burned.
I don't sully the gloves. These are Grandma Kid's nice gloves.
It's not the word on the street. Petite.
Ooh.
Call me petite again.
I'm stepping back.
Say that again.
Say what again, Cher?
I gotta give you guys paint chips on that.
I will let this one slide because we've just met. But if you say that to my face again, we will have an encounter.
Hey now, it's just what I've heard. Just rumor, that's all. I never believe it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Remy, I do think you should listen, because if you look here, and Louis is gonna move his mouth aside, and he's got a gold tooth on one side. Yeah, that wasn't always gold until I met Miss Murphy here, and she expedited the installation thereof.
Now, you originally told me you lost it biting into an apple.
She smirks at that, but says nothing.
Well, something to that effect, yeah. Was eating an apple at the time.
It was a nice apple.
Until it was bloodied.
And the
I
apple
did not
don't
know you
fall
could use an
far.
apple as a weapon.
It pads the hand nicely.
If it's green.
Or there's a stack of them.
It saved me a few bruises.
What the fuck are you all talking about?
Bruised fruit.
I don't think I've drank enough for this conversation.
I hear
Are we
you say
ready
that
to
for
go?
a lot of conversations.
Hey, I'll drink to that.
I believe it is just up ahead, over that way.
When you guys make it, kind of wind your way northeast along the riverfront, you get to the French Quarter, and you make your way through the quarter to the Garden District. About 5 p.m., and you arrive at the home of Miss Sophie Parrish.
What do you know? It almost doesn't smell of fucking shit over here.
Actually, it smells like magnolia blossoms and Confederate jasmine blowing on the air. Smells wonderful.
They do have a lot of these fancy flowers here.
Hmm.
Absolutely beautiful yard.
Oh, well, let us go and say hello.
And
Hello.
you knock on the door, and this
Are
obviously,
you there, miss?
yeah, servant opens the door, and can I help you, gentlemen and lady?
What about you?
What?
Oh, we are here to speak with Miss Parrish. My associate here has brought her a cake.
Well, a cake. That's most nice, most nice indeed. Can I tell Miss Parrish what this is in regard to?
Jimmy just steps in.
Just walks right in. Excuse
If you want
me.
to
And starts looking around. Why, this is a mighty fine place you got here, isn't it, miss? Very fancy indeed.
So
Mind if I take a wee look around?
No,
Just-
Ida
just-
grabs the back of his neckline and just rips backwards, and he tumbles down the top 2 stairs.
Here, Peter.
I'll
You better
be
be careful about touching me like that again.
I'll be right back. I'll be Miss Parrish, Miss Parrish. And you see this lady, this like housemaid, kind of disappear, off through the back rooms, and hurriedly trying to. And let me stop that because we're not walking through New Orleans anymore. Hurrying on her heels
was nice, though.
as she comes back into the grand foyer. Oh, okay, I've got this. Mr. Desjardins, how nice of you to have answered my letter.
Well, it was only proper.
Yes, you see, have you heard the rumors about my brother?
There are a lot of rumors, and a lot of them do not seem accurate. Perhaps you might be able to tell me and my associates here, who, by the way, I don't know if you know them. It's Miss Murphy, Mr. Shark, Justin Wilson, who is, I believe you know, because he brought you a cake. And of
Remy
course,
Woodruff.
Reverend.
And he kind of puts his holds one hand in front of him and bows slightly to her.
Is she good looking?
I will have tipped her hat.
She, in her day was probably quite a looker. She, if you are looking, I'm not going to make you do a notice roll. She's not wearing any kind of wedding ring or engagement ring. And as pretty as she is, you're kind of wondering why. And she's probably about 35 years old.
So Jimmy leans in, probably a little bit too close for comfort, gives her a wink and says, "You can call me Jimmy."
Oh,
And then just wanders off.
what a pleasure to meet you all there. And she
Jimmy?
leans into Louis. She goes, "They're Irish. You brought the Irish here."
I warned you, Murphy. Don't be touching me again, or there'll be trouble.
Jimmy, you make trouble.
Please, not in the house. Not in the house, please. Just
Yeah, good muscle.
here, please. Let's sit in here. Could you bring us some tea or maybe something a little stronger, some bourbon perhaps? And but
Perhaps tea would be better for Jimmy.
tea then it is.
I heard tell you had some fine whiskey.
I'll have a bottle provided for you on the way out. Not a problem. And she looks at the housemaid and nods her head, and then she escorts you into a small sitting parlor, sitting around, and she says, "Please have a seat." And then she remains standing though, and she starts pacing back and forth, like she doesn't know where to begin her story. And then she
You cut out.
Since our parents died of yellow fever 3 years ago, I have run this house. Nathan, my dear younger brother, is my only living relative. Like everyone else in town, I know what the police are saying. Let me assure you, I know Nathan, and these accusations against him are false. Nathan would cry when Father whipped the dog. He could never have murdered anyone. Nathan is the only family I have left in this world. I cannot bear to suffer his loss. Our family is not as wealthy as it once was, but I am prepared to offer you the sum of $500 if you can find my brother and prove his innocence.
Could you please see that the dogs are fed?
I believe you will need to provide them with several steaks. They sound quite hungry.
Perhaps you could provide them with Jamie.
Well, I hope they don't eat the cake.
Long as it ain't no meat cake.
I wonder, do you know how to make some sort of pot pie there, Justin? I believe that might be delicious.
Here,
Well, I
fellas.
can certainly make a pot pie, I guarantee.
Here, fellas. Where's your respect? This woman's just bled her heart out to us, and you guys are talking about fucking pies. Do you know what I mean? Have a little respect for the woman. She's going to provide us with some top quality whiskey.
I do apologize, madam. And I will certainly help prove the innocence of your brother. I don't suppose you know anything else about what happened to you?
Let's see here. So first time's running out. She says, I really do not. It's just completely out of his character and why anyone would ever think that, maybe he did have some relationship with Isabel. I can tell you that was the girl's name. And she says, that of course it happened at the Gilded Lily. But other than that, I really don't know. Nathan kind of led his own life, which was sometimes a blur on a family name, or a mark on a family name, I guess you'd say.
It's a fine establishment. Bit expensive.
Do we know anything about the Gilded Lady?
About the Gilded Lady? It's in the quarter. It's in the southeast corner of the quarter. And, it's a pretty nice brothel. I mean, brothels are not
some
pretty common
some
here.
of the classier women.
Oh, so he didn't even bring her to a hotel. He's just going where she is.
Pretty much.
But I believe that is the fancy one.
For when you've won a big fight.
You would never see me at one of those houses of ill repute.
No?
Of course
Do you
not.
go disguise?
You just told us you didn't have any money, so of course we wouldn't.
That's the thing, mon ami. Remy don't need money.
I believe that is called breaking and entering.
So Ida looks over.
No, my natural charms.
Ida looks over at him and gives him a once-over with her eyes up and down, and she goes, "Yes, you do."
You guys hear a shot.
Yeah, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a shot.
Where's that from?
Comes from upstairs.
What the fuck?
And
as soon as it happened, Ida jumped to her feet.
Yeah, Remy did too and ran upstairs towards it.
Sophie
Same.
looks up the stairs and she looks over at her maid and looks back up the stairs and kind of hurries up behind you guys. And you get to the top of the stairs and you see the hallway kind of goes two different directions, but you can tell that it sounded like it kind of came from the left, back in towards the left of the hallway up here. And you can smell the acrid smell of gunpowder.
So as Ida walks down the hallway, she pulls her Colt out and is holding it down.
So Jimmy lags behind a bit, sitting in a chair for a while, because his natural instinct is not to run towards the gunshots.
Yeah.
And then after everybody's been gone for a minute, he then ambles up behind them.
Well, for having
Louis,
good natural instincts, you get a fate chip.
Justin ain't running anywhere.
He's still holding the pineapple downside up cake.
He's trying to get this cake cut.
Looking for the fork.
All right, so you make it upstairs, and you come to the room, and Sophie goes, "Well, that's Nathan's room," and she
Are there
walks
any
up.
other ways in or out of this room?
It's on the second floor of the house, and she says, "No, not other than perhaps the window." Nathan? She knocks on the door. Are you in there, Nathan? She's knocking on the door, and you guys don't hear anything.
Is it locked?
You check
I'm gonna try to open it.
Yeah, I'll check it.
it? Yeah, it
How
opens.
badly did this fella take this whole thing?
You open it up, and let's see. Shortly after the posse hears Sophie's plea for help, the meeting's interrupted by the sound of a single pistol shot from upstairs. You guys walk in. There you find Nathan laying back on the bed, feet hanging off the edge of it. There is a pistol in his hand, a gunshot wound, obviously to the head, as the white sheets are
Oh,
pooled in blood that is still running from the wound.
Is it the front, the side, or the back of the head?
not a pretty sight.
Looks like the side, like the temple. The temple
Is
area.
it the same side that the gun is being held?
You guys, who has healing medicine? Any kind of academics, you know what I mean? Or an investigation of some kind?
I have
I've
high
got
notice.
the-
Does that count?
In hindsight,
healer.
that would have been a good thing to have in hindsight.
Common knowledge, shady activities.
You guys look around and just give me notice rolls. And all rolls can be made out on the table except for like stealth and other things like that. All right. So, Louis, you're looking to. Is the gun in his right hand? Yes, it is. And there is a gunshot wound in his right temple. And Remy, you're looking around. You go over. You look out the window. The window's open where he's come in the window here. And you don't see anybody else. You can see some people standing out on the street kind of looking up at the window here from where they've heard the gunshot, but that's about it.
I'll close the curtains if there are any.
Yeah, there's curtains. You draw the curtains closed.
Yeah.
So, Ida puts her gun away and says, "Well, ma'am, I think you found your brother."
Wasn't the offer $500 to find him?
To prove his innocence, I think. She looks and you guys turn around and she's standing there. She still has a look of shock on her face, and then her knees buckle and she just drops to the floor and faints away.
Remy will attempt to catch her.
Okay, give me an agility roll. Or acrobat or athletics, whichever is that's good enough. Yep, you snatch her. You snatch her. She goes down. You scoop her up into your arms, and I guess you take her back down to the sitting room, or there's a bedroom next door, probably her bedroom.
Yeah, the bedroom probably.
Okay. You lay her in there.
Perhaps you can get her some of your cake, and she will feel better from that.
That's what you need, some cake.
Suggestion heads to the
Don't
kitchen.
think no cake will help her at the moment.
She eventually wakes up. Okay. Louis, you were looking at the body too, weren't you? Who else was looking at the body?
Yeah,
Ida is.
Ida was. Okay. Yeah, and Ida had a success too. So, So yeah, definitely, Brad. You see that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. You've got no doubt in your mind, anyway. Of course, you're not a like a forensic doctor or some kind, but
Well, the numbers add up anyway. It's not like he
um,
was shot in an unreachable location.
Ida, you notice one of his fingernails is missing or something.
That's an odd one.
That is a bit bizarre.
Yeah, um, it's scabbed. Or I don't. It's just looks unusual.
Well, it's been missing a while then.
You can take a
When
closer
was the
look.
last time he was seen?
It's healed over.
Well, maybe you start getting a closer look at it, and it's more akin to, I don't know. It like flakes away as you're like, this seems like something you've seen before. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you kind of touch the scab and it just kind of flakes away.
Hmm.
It's almost like wood.
What is
Eh?
going on there?
This is a bit odd.
Is there any furniture in here?
Yeah, there's a sitting table. There's like a vanity here. Looks like a man's vanity. It's got a can of hair cream and different things, and there's a
Some
wardrobe and
pomade.
some pomade.
Drinks
Staple of
cabinet?
the 1800s.
What the hell was it in
Which
Brother
figure
Roger?
was it?
Dapper Dan.
Drinks cabinet or like a whiskey decanter or
Yeah, there's a whiskey decanter in here.
okay.
Um,
And is there any sign of a note?
there is successful survival roll 2. No, there's no note. And you hear a knock downstairs, and then you hear some voices, and Ida, you can kind of. It sounds to me like the police have arrived after about 5 minutes or so.
Damn, that was fast.
Which is pretty quick considering that if you call the police, down in the Irish neighborhoods, they might get there tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. So she takes a one look around the room real quick. Is there anything that stands out as like out of the ordinary for a male bedroom besides the dead person?
Give me a notice roll.
Okay.
Wow, like the dice kind of like rolled or floated around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't roll, did it?
Just,
There it goes.
It's just sitting there.
Okay. All right, notice this. So either one of them is a success. You look around. I mean, it would be a success if it was an average roll, and I won't tell you whether or not it was an average roll or not. I always apply positives or negatives to things in my head.
You're good.
But you look around, you're pretty confident that it looks like he hasn't been here in a couple days. I mean, the bed was made, obviously by the maid. You're looking at his clothing. It looks like he's been in it for, a few days. It's a little ruffled. There's dirt on it. Of course, he's been hiding for 4 or 5 days now because of all this, or for a couple of days anyway. But other than that, no, nothing really stands out. It just looks like he climbed up here into the window and then shot himself.
All right, and there's no cabinet open or anything to indicate where he got the gun?
Probably.
Does he have a holster?
Yep. You get to looking around, you pull his jacket open the rest of the way, which is still buttoned. You unbutton it and flip it over, and he's got a holster inside of his jacket.
Okay.
This is a small handgun. Looks like it's a 32 or 38 caliber.
So he came home to die.
You look around, Louis, give me a notice roll.
I do declare, I have the
Looks like a room with a
the
dead guy in
papers
it.
here or something.
I think turned and banged your head against the chandelier.
Justin, you go downstairs.
My hat off, I gotta adjust it.
You cut up your cake, and you
What?
come back upstairs with some tea and a piece of cake for Miss Parrish. Kind of get her around. She starts to wake up a little bit. The police are in looking, and Ida, you can hear them talking. They don't take too kindly to you. For one thing, you're in the wrong neighborhood, and another thing, you're a detective from the wrong neighborhood.
Okay.
So these are, there's not a detective here yet. The one has not arrived yet. These look like just common beat cops. But they're not really talking. They're kind of mumbling to themselves. But it's obvious to you, like they think that they've got this whole Isabel the soiled dove murder wrapped up with his death.
All right.
All right, so Isabel was the victim.
Isabel was the victim's name that he's been accused of murdering.
Mm-hmm. So she's just gonna walk up to him. She doesn't care.
So you walk up to these street cops.
Yep.
Okay. They give you the
Be
look you would
careful,
expect.
petite.
Oh, so she turns around quickly and shoots you a real nasty sign. Whatever that is for the time.
Rumi just gives you a sweet smile.
And she turns back to the gentleman and says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting to see you."
It's a fine afternoon. What are you doing down here, detective? This is not your beat.
Oh, I was invited here by this kind lady.
Kind lady. Reminds me of Jackie Gleason in Smokey and the Bandit. Thank you, kind lady.
And how about you? You arrived here very quickly. It's almost as though you were expecting something to happen.
Well, some neighborhoods can afford better protection than others, I reckon.
Better.
Smells like corned beef and cabbage in here, doesn't it, boys? And these cops are all just kind of laughing.
Oh, sweet things. You think you're funny.
Well, somebody better go fetch a detective.
I thought I smelled bacon.
Do what?
Remy,
Some
you
big
keep
old fat bacon, too.
Remy, you keep opening that mouth of yours, and you might not have one.
You have some gold teeth,
about
too.
You, Chef.
I'm sorry, I only heard.
No, I'm just better at dodging than Louis.
You think you are?
Meanwhile, Jimmy's upstairs, rifling through Nathan's pockets.
So, gentlemen, you have any leads? You think you know who this perpetrator is?
Yep, that's one Nathan Parrish right there. Murderer and a dead one at that. Somebody get the coroner too. Besides the there's the detective, and you see this kind of little pudgy guy come walking in. Not real big a stature even for this period of time. He's about 5'2", 5'3". Kind of wrinkles his nose up when he looks at you.
Justin's gonna offer him some cake. Pudgy guys like cake.
Yeah, he looks over and
it's true.
He just takes a handful right up off the platter you've got it on and just starts eating it. Well, we got here a detective that is in the wrong precinct.
And we got here a detective with no manners. How are you doing today, my kind sir?
I was doing much better till I walked in here, and then he just walks on past you eating on this cake. Looks around, looks at the
Justin's gonna
body.
say, well, it's a good thing we're here on a social visit, not on official business.
What's that supposed to mean, he says.
She has every right to be here.
Well, socially she does. You've got me on that one. That's a mighty fine cake there, Mr.
Justin.
Mr. Justin,
Justin Wilson.
you work for the parishes here, do you? You their cook? I have to come
On
by here for
occasion, they've
dinner
hired me.
sometime.
Make a mean corned beef and cabbage.
Oh, and
Ida hides a grin behind her handkerchief.
so he kind of looks around, does about the same thing you guys did, checks the body over, looks at the hand holding the gun, takes very brief notice of the fingernail missing. Looks like he's been in a fight. He kind of flips the body over, checks the back of it, and looks around. He says, "All right, that's another one closed. Let the coroner in to do his job." And then you can hear Sophie start crying in the other room when he hollers coroner like that. So she's woken up now. She's sitting up, she's drinking some tea, and she's, having some Justin's pineapple downside up cake. And eventually the police kind of clear out and leave. Coroner comes in, bags up the body, asks where she wants it taken and all that, all the necessary things are taken care of. And then the maids go in and start cleaning up his bedroom and stuff. And you guys are kind of left attending Miss Parrish here. And she tells you that, let's see. Police arrived shortly thereafter, fairly satisfied that learned Nathan killed himself. Declare the latest murders solved on the spot. Investigation's courtesy at best. Nathan's corpse is quickly sent to a local undertaker's. And after the police depart, Sophie tells the heroes she would like them to finish the job she offered. She still believes him innocent and feels shame drove him to take his own life. Although it's too late to save Nathan's life, she asks you to save his name and her family's.
Well, of course, ma'am.
Of course we will, mademoiselle.
You're so sweet.
If only we could ask a few more questions.
Please. Any way I can help.
Did your brother have any enemies or bad business dealings?
My brother didn't handle the business of the family very well. I took over a couple of years ago, and I've been doing all I can to kind of pull it back. And Louis, you can tell by looking around, it's been 10 years since you've been here, but the place looks like it's, it could use a fresh coat of paint, and some things aren't really been taken care of. Looks like they've seen better days. But she tells you that she's done all she can to try to, turn the family's business ventures back around.
I believe I know some possible people you might invest with, if you know what I mean, after the whole situation with your brother is resolved, after all.
Well, perhaps you and I can do business. I know my father sure thought the world of you, Mr. Desjardins.
Well, there was a lot of business to be had.
So she offers you to, go ahead and try to prove her brother's innocence and collect on that $500.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think Justin wants to go downstairs to the kitchen area. Is there staff working in this house?
Yeah.
Servants and cooks, and he's gonna go down to the kitchen
pretty
area
small
and
staff.
make himself comfortable. Yeah, and he's gonna kind of see if he can gain any insight into Nathan and his doings, and see if there's any rumors that the kitchen staff and the maids know.
All right, so Justin, let me take a look at your traits here. Let's see what all you got. Common knowledge, New Orleans. Persuasion. You could try to use some persuasion to get the cooks to, or the servants to talk about their employer.
You want me to just roll that in the tower, or how you?
Yeah, just roll it right out. No, just roll it right out on the table if you want to. They don't seem to really accept you too much. Do you know how to use bennies, Caesar?
Use what?
Bennies, okay. Fate chips.
Fate chips been
You've got fate chips.
Nope. Where are they? What are they?
Where are they? What are they?
Det top your character sheet.
Right. White chips, red chips, blue chips, legend chips.
Yep. There's no legend chips in the bag. There wouldn't be for a one shot, but you can use a fate chip too. And if you still got the message of the day open, there's a bunch of stuff pinned on it. I think the quick references are.
quick reference.
Well, I thought I hotbarred it, but I can't find it now.
I'll share the message of the day with you. Let's see, quick reference. There's two methods of quick reference. First, images found in the images Crooked Woody's table things. So I guess I could have pinned that right there, and I will do that right now. Well, no, because they're all images on Crooked Woody's table things. Do you guys have those? You got access to the images that are in there?
Images?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Open up the images.
It's in the one channel.
Oh, that one. But
Wait.
yeah, fate chips can be used to re-roll a trait, recover from shaken, soak damage rolls, draw a new action card. Well, this one says you re-roll damage, but I don't think we're doing that.
No, we're not re-rolling damage. So.
And regain power points and influence the story.
And I'm a big fan of players, influencing the story by using a fate chip. But basically that just means that if you're looking for some way out or something, say, you can just say, well, I know somebody who lives here that could help us out. You do, and I'm going to say, well, tell me about them, and then you can spend a fate chip and tell me about that person. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you can spend a fate chip to re-roll a roll that you failed. Or you can use a red or blue fate chip to roll a six-sider and add it to the result.
They can also be used as white chips as well to just re-roll
Right.
and such.
Right. So anyway, they don't from that roll, Justin. They don't seem to want to talk to you too much. You're looking for a 4 in most cases. A 4 would be a success.
All right. So to re-roll it, what do I do to get rid of a chip?
You could spend a
Double click it or drag it.
Would it be a red or a white?
Okay, a red one. If you use a red
I would
chip, I get to draw a chip to use for the NPCs. Whites and blues, I don't. Does that make any sense? If you use a red chip, I get to draw a chip that I can use for the NPCs. Right now, I've got 5 chips already. I start with
If you use it to add the D6.
Yeah, if you use it to add a
roll.
D6.
So ideally, white or blue.
So I use a white one to re-roll that
Yes.
then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there
Okay,
you go.
so that took one away, and then I re-roll persuasion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, old Justin, eventually he gets them all. Come here, let me tell you something. And you start talking to them, and you kind of break them down pretty good. And they start talking to you a little bit. And what you're able to glean from them is that Nathan had a pretty bad drinking problem. But he was the farthest thing from violent that you'd ever find. And he liked the ladies, and he liked to spend a lot of money on himself and his friends, and which is why he got the family into a little bit of financial trouble, and his sister took over.
All right.
So that's a quest for Sophie's request.
while he's talking, up in the room where seemed to have shot himself. Did you say he seemed to be in front of the window when he did it and fell into the bed?
Looks like he was probably just sitting on the edge of the bed and just put the gun up and pulled the trigger, and it threw his body back onto it. That's why his legs are kind of dangling off the end of the bed. Looks like he was just sitting there and just pow, and his body fell backwards, and this big pool of blood came out and stained the white sheets and comforter.
Where was the window relative to this?
Like right in front of it. Like he could sit up, and he was probably looking out the window when he shot himself.
What Ida's gonna go and look at the window and inspect it.
Okay.
Is there, like, how does it open? Is there any way to open it from the outside without causing damage?
No, you'd have to unlock it and then, raise it up from the inside if it was locked. But evidently it wasn't locked because he must have just climbed right up. There's a great big iron pipe runs down the outside of this thing, and it's got brackets. It's got it bolted to the brickwork in this house, and it looks like he probably just climbed up this right into his window.
There's no damage to the window, is there?
Or the wall that we can see looking down?
No.
And does it seem like there are any vantage points from outside that would be able to see into the window?
Right outside the window is a huge live oak tree. And maybe if a person was sitting in that tree, but beyond it they wouldn't have had a clear view into the room.
Was the window open before we got into the room, or when we got into the room?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Well,
was the door already open, or was the door closed?
It was closed.
Closed.
We have to open it.
But Ida, perhaps we can take a look at the tree and see if there was perhaps someone climbed up into it. Maybe he was out there, or there was someone else.
So Ida's actually going to climb right up on the windowsill and try and get into the tree.
It'd be a hell of a jump, but
Okay.
you could probably make it over there, and it's a good, if you fell, it's a good 12, 14 feet down to the ground.
Might I recommend just going outside through the front door and climbing the tree?
So what is the height difference between me and Nathan? So if I'm like 5'2".
You're 5'2". He's probably 5'6", 5'7", average height for people of that time.
All right, so he wouldn't be
Of
massively...
men of that time. No, he's not a big guy, huh? But he's
he's probably not
thin.
Hoisting himself over there either.
Well, I mean, he's not frail by any means. He is younger than his sister. She's about 35. He looks like he was probably 30 when he passed away. But, he's pretty toned. He could have easily, climbed up that iron guttering, that iron downspout, basically, from the guttering. But as you're looking over at the oak tree, you'd almost have to have a ladder to get up into it, or somebody boost you up to the first branches, because it's big. It's a great big old tree.
All right. So it's clear. There's a clear path up and down. So
yes.
She doesn't need to climb down it to see that. So she's just gonna get back off the windowsill then.
Okay. At least Jimmy didn't push you. It's a fucking Murphy. One less fucking Murphy to worry about in the world.
That would have been Venno that got pushed by.
Yeah.
Yes. But we don't talk about that anymore.
Okay.
Perhaps we could go have a word with the proprietor of that other establishment.
Which other establishment?
The Gilded Lady.
The Gilded Lily.
Is it Lily or Lady?
It is the Gilded Lady.
I thought so.
Sorry. The Gilded Lady.
I may have said Lily.
Before we jump into the next section, can I run and grab a drink?
Absolutely. You guys, this is a marathon. You need to take a break here and there, and we've been going an hour and a half. So, If you want, we'll keep most of our breaks like 5 minutes, and then we'll take a 10 minute, 10 or 15 minutes somewhere in the middle.
Okay,
Does that sound good? All right,
sounds good.
so stream, we will be right back. And what did we say? Set it for 7:42 p.m. my time. About 6 minutes. We'll be right back.